Let's talk about the Time interview with President Trump. He said that he has made 200 deals on tariffs. 200 deals? Who has he made deals with? Is there actually any deal at this point?
Quote, China and the United States have not consulted or negotiated on the tariff issue.
You said that you have spoken to President Xi. When did that happen? China says it hasn't happened.
I spoke to him numerous times.
Bombastic side eye.
Have you spoken to him since the tariffs? When did you last
I don't want to comment on that.
But the bottom line, the White House has not announced a single deal yet.
We're going to have great deals.
It was reported this morning that Amazon will soon display a little number next to the price of each product that shows how much the Trump tariffs are adding to the cost of each product. So isn't that a perfect crystal clear demonstration that it's the American consumer and not China who is going to have to pay for these policies?
I will take this since I just got off the phone with the president about Amazon's announcement. This is a hostile and political act by Amazon. Amazon has partnered with a Chinese propaganda arm. So this is another reason why Americans should buy American.
His giant tariff policy that he just dropped on the market unilaterally, probably unconstitutionally. Trump's reciprocal tariffs impose hundreds of billions of dollars in new taxes on Americans, be the largest tax increase since the Revenue Act of 1968. One of the biggest tax increases on American consumers in the history of America. And it's going to cost American consumers. It will cost American producers who use inputs from other countries. The Dow Jones Industrial Average plummeted immediately more than 1,000 points. The S&P 500 plummeted more than 3%. The NASDAQ plummeted almost 4.5%. There are real-world implications for this sort of stuff. Trade wars are in fact not good and not easy to win, particularly if you don't actually have a plan.
I think sometimes people read a mandate too broadly. They think if I'm elected, I'm empowered to do whatever the heck I want. I don't remember any talk about Canada or Greenland or the Pope or deporting U.S. citizens the night he was elected.
The others, it's sort of incomplete. We're inflation. The president is, saying gas is $1.90. I just filled up my tank. It ain't $1.90, and we do not have have inflation tapped down to 2%, and we run the risk of having it jump up at least in a one-time way if these tariffs are put in place.
All I can say, I was a dumbass, voted for Trump.
Do folks in America not realize that food stamps and WIC and other programs like that for needy families, for hungry people, that those are actually USDA agricultural subsidies? And so when farmers vote against handouts, when conservative Republican farmers voted for Donald Trump, voted for gutting these programs and left to judge hungry folks, call them welfare queens, with how they love to rage against socialism, that those folks are shooting themselves in the foot because in wanting to do away with or cut back these programs, they are ensuring that the subsidies that keep their farms going, those go away. We are watching America's farmers in the heartland start to wake up to the reality that their support of Donald Trump might cost them their farms. I'm frankly surprised they don't remember all of the farmers who went out of business during the first Trump administration. It was a lot. Soybean farmers especially.
Migrant workers are gone, and food prices are about to skyrocket. This collapse is not an accident. It is being very methodically manufactured on purpose by the 1% so that they can do a mass land grab, business grab, because the guys at the top are going to be able to survive this. We won't. The mom and pop stores, the people struggling to pay their mortgages, and the large property grabbing companies are going to swoop up people's homes when they can't afford them. This also allows them to buy up smaller businesses and create huge corporate monopolies.
You voted for President Trump. What were you hoping that he would do?
I was hoping he would did something that made sense regarding the economy.
90% of the truck drivers voted for Trump. Now they go to the ports and the piers and look for a load to carry, and they find out that half the fucking ships are empty and the other half are being diverted by China to other places. The only fucking thing you'll be hauling is Trump the fuck out of the White House back to Mar-a-Lago.
Well, breaking fucking news. So not only are the last cargo ships arriving to the United States this week that will be carrying cargo that will not be tariffed, because after this, every cargo ship that arrives in the United States will be hit with 145% tariff. Truck drivers across the United States are quitting in mass. Yes, the truck drivers that are legal citizenships who also have legal driver's licenses are quitting in mass and selling their trucks. So not only are we going to be facing a crisis of items coming into the United States, we're also going to be facing a crisis of items being able to be delivered to businesses.
The United States is going to start seeing shortages in all kinds of products, mainly because of the trade dispute with things that are kind of hitting the fan right now. So I've got a list of some things. Again, these are heavily imported products into the United States.
Morale boosters like coffee and tea, cereal grains, bread, oats, rice, and pasta, dairy products, fruits and vegetables, core protein sources like pork, beef, and seafood. We're already seeing the U.S. beef supply strain because of the heavy reliance on imports. Expect severe shortages in diapers and baby supplies, laundry soap, and personal hygiene items, all critical products to avoid illness and disease. Clothing and footwear, especially for the growing kids. Electronics, appliances, and basic home goods. Now think medical equipment, solar panels, batteries, furnaces, water heater, air conditioning, refrigeration. It's not just the finished products. You have to keep in mind the imported components for products made in America as well.
Just remember your COVID-19 experiences on trying to get things. This is about to start to happen in the United States now because of the issues relating to tariffs and how tariffs affect supply chains.
The cost of groceries, a word that I used a lot on the campaign. It's like an old-fashioned word, but it's a beautiful word, very descriptive word. And the groceries are coming down, Brooke, at a level that we're finally getting costs under control in our country.
It's vegetables. The fuck going on in the
prices are going through the roof. Let me show you. 4 items, $100.
May Day, also known as International Workers' Day, has long been a time to recognize the rights and the struggles of the working people around the world. Its origins go back to the labor movement in the late 1800s, where workers in cities like Chicago demanded an 8-hour workday. Protests led to conflict, and the Haymarket Affair in 1886 became a defining moment. Since then, May Day has served as a reminder that fair treatment, job security, and dignity for workers are never guaranteed. They have to be continually fought for, especially when economical and political systems begin to shift. And now we need to find ourselves showing up again. Right now, everyday Americans are beginning to feel the effects of policies that only benefit the wealthy, while the rest of us are left struggling to keep up, to make ends meet, and making the choice to pay rent or go hungry. And yes, there has been a wealth disparity issue in America for quite some time. It's going to get worse, because today in 2025 we are facing a different kind of uncertainty. And while we remember the past, we have to also face what's happening right now. Less than 6 months into this administration, we are seeing actions that are undermining the very foundation of our country. The president's focus is not on making our country stronger. It's on consolidating power for himself and his wealthy allies, as trade is drastically reduced and imports become uncertain. This isn't just about store shortages. This is a reminder that decisions are being made by people who have no idea of how these policies affect regular people. Many importers are pausing orders, while some suppliers are backing out entirely. That doesn't mean the shelves will be empty all at once, but over the coming weeks and months, we'll likely see fewer options, more delays, and higher prices. This is already impacting small retailers and local businesses because they rely on affordable imports to stock their shelves and keep prices that are competitive. It's also affecting everyday people who just need access to basic goods. In normal times, the US might work with our allies to manage a disruption like this. Trade networks are meant to provide stability when part of the system gets shaky. But recently, the US has been pulling back from those relationships. We've imposed tariffs on long-standing partners, cut back on international cooperation, and issued threats to some of our closest allies. That means that there's less flexibility now. People are going to be looking elsewhere, and fewer countries are stepping in to help. This results in a growing economic isolation at a time when we need connection the most. And what does that mean? Well, currently, warehouse workers have already lost their jobs due to loss in production and shipping delays. Retail workers are seeing reduced hours and layoffs as employers are struggling to get in stock because of tariffs. Customers are going to struggle to find essentials and even afford them. Small businesses are going to be unable to restock or stay affordable. Food prices are definitely going to increase, and there will be limited access to what we can get, as well as delivery times stretched out. The effects are already hitting hard, and for many these are not just future concerns, they're already here. The job cuts, the inflation, the lack of product availability are here. and they're already straining people. It's not just an economic issue, it's a social one. When supply chains strain, so do communities, especially those already living paycheck to paycheck. People are already losing their jobs because companies are facing the burden of rising tariffs. Job cuts in industries that are dependent on trade relationships have already begun, and people are finding themselves out of work and unable to support their families. And it doesn't end there. We are seeing attacks on our rights and freedom. The president has shown time and time again that he is willing to disregard the Constitution just to push forward his own agenda. He's trying to steal our rights, our voices, and our money, all while tearing apart our democratic institutions. This isn't just about political disagreement. It's about protecting our democracy and the rights that belong to every American in this country. This is why May Day is still relevant, maybe more than ever in our recent times. It's not just a historical moment, it's a framework. A reminder that when systems fail or governments ignore the warning signs, the burden usually lands on the ordinary people. In 1886, workers gathered because their voices weren't being heard. In 2025, we're gathering to make our voices heard. To say we see what's happening, we know what's coming, and we want our representatives to do something about it. We don't want you to sit in cabinet meetings where you kiss someone's ass in a cult-like behavior. We want them to look at the polling on every issue and see that the majority, except for immigration, is against with what they're doing. And every single person in that office is supposed to be upholding the law and the will of the people. Protests are happening, voices are being raised, because we understand that if we don't show up, we'll be left with nothing. Another successful protest down. And once again, I'm filled with more hope. Even though it was Thursday mid-afternoon, a lot of people have to work, go to school, we had the same turnout, if not more. I saw familiar faces from last time and some new ones. And everyone that I talked to was there for the same reason. They want our community, our neighbors, our friends, our family to live in a country where we don't have to worry about them getting deported as a child with cancer. We don't want the wealth disparity to go even worse than it already is, causing even more hungry people in this country who can't pull themselves up by their bootstraps because there are no jobs. Because regardless of how you feel about tariffs, the simple fact is there's no infrastructure set up for the tariffs. Factories take years to create and set up and get the raw materials that we now are going to have a hard time to import. If you guys have ever worked in logistics or know a friend who works in logistics, ask them how long it takes a go live to be even created, to set up, to start. Oh, but I'm getting off topic. And that is why probably the beginning of my video was a little choppy, a little stiff. I did have to script it out because if I didn't, I would start rambling about how judges are being arrested by the FBI, how our judiciary system is under attack, how law offices are under attack, how Trump has literally said he wants to go after homegrown criminals next, which first off, this you, how Mitch McConnell could have prevented all of this. There's so much chaos that has been created in the first 100 days that it's really hard to keep track, and that's the point. They want us scrambling for our senses. So I did have to script out my video a little bit, and I am very stiff about my scripts. But if I don't stay on point about a specific few topics, I'm gonna go all over the place. But I do want to end on an upbeat, higher note. While I don't think that the reason we have to go protest is fun, and I don't think being out in the sun for 2 hours when I could be doing something else is fun. Being around a community and seeing that people are willing to show up and that there's a lot of people will build your hope. Now, protest may not be for everyone. Posting on the internet, definitely not for everyone. Oh my God. I already know I'm going to get messages that are filled with insults towards my appearance. I'm gonna get some crazy stuff. I'm gonna get incorrect facts thrown at me, and then when I correct them, they like deteriorate into a whole bunch of insanity that just makes no sense. And then of course bad faith questions that always end in them just going, you're fat, which congratulations, I've made 286 videos about me being fat. Surprise, surprise. What is surprising though is that this is the first fat comment that I got. But in any case, not everyone's made to be posting this on the internet. Not everyone's made to go to protests. There's donations, that's more Stephen's bag. There's going to town halls, calling your senator, calling your mayor. Anyone who is supposed to be representing you, you can be calling. Or you can even keep quiet, not share your views, and be an ally that people can go to where their secrets can be held. For me, protests are uplifting. I like being around my community, and I like sharing it so that you guys can see that there are people out here. And a lot of news is actually starting to report the polls. Still honks. It's 10 minutes past the protest and people are still out there supporting. I know that my supporters actually made it this far in the video. And if you have, give me a like and subscribe to help a girl out on this. The algorithm loves to spread the hate before the likes. It's just a more intense emotion. And fortunately, I know how to read the analytics, so 30-second video where all the views come from and all the dislikes come from, they clicked on the video because I made a sign that they hated and then left. So if you like, it might get to people who actually want to see the protests, but you don't have to. But before I go, I want to remind you guys that it's important to spend some time enjoying any simple thing you can get out of life. Relish the humor, watch a beautiful sunset, take a walk. There needs to be balance. Everything that's going on right now can make us really angry. It can bring a lot of highs and lows when you get to see all the hope and then realize that, you know, nothing has changed yet. There's more days to come. So those moments that make you happy are really, really important. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna relish the sunshine just a little bit more, enjoy some more good honks, and say I will see you guys later. See you guys soon. Bye!